Okay, so I'm gonna give y'all a quick summary of everything that happened on today's new episode. So the episode started with Ridge and Brooke on the boat. So I'm like, okay, what's really going on over here? I'm assuming they finna do a photo shoot, something like that. But yeah, they was on boats and stuff. She rubbing on him, touching on him, stuff like that. And I was like, this don't look work related to me. I said, this don't look work related to me. But yeah, the press ended up bringing up Ridge and Brooke past the fact that they was a couple. They liked them as a couple. Ended up bringing up his engagement to Taylor. Brooke over here, the look on her face. She upset. She ends up walking out. He falls behind her, and I said, I said, Taylor, you missing it, girl. But yeah, she ends up saying, it's hard for her. She can see that he love her, but he being stubborn and whatever. She ended up telling him how she's tired of the back and forth. She ready to go. He's like, don't go, whatever, don't leave. And they ended with that scene. If I'm not mistaken, they ended with that scene. Aside from that, Eric was telling Ridge that he needs to commit to Brooke before Nick does. Sheila ends up talking to Deacon about missing Luna and the fact that she keeps trying to reach out to Lee, but she avoiding her, obviously. She avoiding her. But yeah, that was a quick summary. So we're going to start with Ridge and Brooke and Eric. So, like I said, the episode started with them on a boat. And I assume it was work-related because they said it's a business trip. It's not personal or whatever. That's what Eric keep on telling Nick. That's what he keep on telling Nick or whatever. But yeah, they was on the boat. She touched his arm and stuff like that. I said, make her get her arms off you. I said, Taylor, she touching your man, girl. But they ended up getting off the boat, and that's when they ran into Eric, and they was talking to that lady. I don't know what her name is, but I think she was on yesterday's episode. I'm assuming it's all about the whole little fashion event or whatever. They was talking about that. They ended up having the fashion show. She came out, and I was like, I said, I know it's a show, but I said, I'm not impressed. I am not impressed with this fashion. But yeah, she came out. They did the little slow-mo and everything. Ridge was looking at her. Looked like she was looking over there at him or whatever. But then they went behind the scenes. They started answering questions and taking photos. They like, we want to see Ridge and Brooke together. We gonna take some more photos of them together and stuff like that. So she looking all uncomfortable and stuff like that. He got his arm around her. So then they start asking questions. They asked about them being a couple, brings up their past and what they shared, started talking about him being engaged to Taylor, and that's when I think Eric was the one that said they want to focus on business, or they want to focus, or he wants to focus on, the fashion or whatever. So yeah, they just kept on. Then I think the dude wanted more photos of them together, so Brooke ends up getting upset. She ends up leaving and walking out. That's when Ridge followed her. He ends up following her and asked her what's going on. She was like, it's hard for her. She's struggling or whatever because she see how much he love her, but he being too stubborn. He being too stubborn and everything. So then she was like, she just want to take her heart out and throw it on the ground and stuff like that. And just expressing her frustration at the fact that he goes back and forth between both women, and she's sick of it. So she was about to walk away. He told my son, no, don't leave or whatever, trying to stop her from leaving. With Nick, I think when they first showed him, he was talking to the guy that's supposed to be working on the boat, but the guy was like, he's not done. Something he told him. So then he's like, he got to get to Capri. He was like, I got another boat or something he said. But he ends up taking the car, but it looked like the car didn't take him no further. He ends up asking the lady how to get there and stuff like that. She told him. But by the time he came, it was too late. And he hasn't ran into Brooke yet, but they already showed a spoiler scene where he's supposed to come up there to her and she's supposed to walk away from Ridge. Let's backtrack because I think I skipped a part. So Eric ends up telling Ridge that he saw Nick with Brooke or whatever, and then he said he saw them kissing. Because first Ridge was trying to say, nothing's going to happen and stuff like that. He came, but he wasted the trip. So he told him about the kiss. So Eric was saying how he thinks that Nick has a plan. He also telling him, he needs to make a commitment to Brooke before Nick does. So Ridge ends up saying how, let me see, what he said, Nick. Oh, he goes to Brooke. He's talking about some Nick a snake and all this other stuff. He doesn't want, he want to talk to her about Nick and stuff like that. She was like, she doesn't want to talk about Nick right now. Did I already say how Nick finally showed up after the fashion show or whatever? I don't know if they're finna continue. I don't know if it's over with, but yeah, he already showed up. That's when Eric sees him and he asked what he was doing there, said this is a private event, he's not welcome. Sheila and Deacon. So Sheila and Deacon was just talking about the same thing, Luna's death. Sheila was saying how she misses Luna and she wished that she got a chance to say goodbye. He was asking, if she said anything or asked, Lee. And she was like, she been trying to text her and call her and she hasn't been responding. They end up showing Lee with Luna once again. And she was saying how she's not going to let Luna die and she want her to wake up. Looked like she was moving her eyes for a split second. But yeah, she was telling Deacon how she wants to know where Luna's buried. But that's when Lee showed up. She ends up showing up. And that's when Sheila told Lee that she wants to visit Luna. And she was over here avoiding her. She was avoiding her. She trying to ask her questions, ask her why she ain't answer the call. She told me she just came there to get her food. I said, follow her. I said, you got to follow her again.